I'm running a 1 hour chart, and I'm running a 50 pip grid, and I'm looking back 5 days. Now, this pivot here that was the apex of that triangle, when we bounced off that, that was kind of like you had to get the hell out there, and you really should be selling this. If you haven't erased these pivots, right? So as we walk through this 50 pip grid, we got about let's see, about 25 pip scalp off of this. If you consider this to be either buy at the market or you have a pending there, they actually retested that and took it one lower. So this was the stop hunt area for going after people that run protective stops. You know, it's not like a conspiracy. I'm just saying that, you know, obviously when the market spends too much time going sideways in a quiet range, there's always the explosion. So this is about 2 hours of stalled out. And if you were long here, or you were saying, wow, you know, this trade's not working out, just from a time standpoint, right? This should have hold, and then so you got that rally. I can't remember if it spiked down and then went up, but you know, the bears had their stops. I'd say probably right up here on this. Right, so the bears are stops there. So they nick that, they rip it back, or they spiked up there. Now that's a lot of people talk about pivots, but I think you have to put an order there, right? So if you have a sell up here right now, you figure they're going to go after this today, right? So this is the hunt, and right now you got this triple bottom here. It's kind of sloppy. It's not the best. But you got this if you go off of here, you'll see divergence on any oscillator because it's just a failure to meet the time destination. If you put the node here, you're looking for the capitulation to be somewhere down here. And on the top side, so there, yeah, patterns are totally tradable. This is a wedge, right? I think we can all agree, right? I mean, and always the example you see every time you go to the internet, the first example you see is a line chart. The second is, well, bar charts are like, you know, they just don't do them anymore, right? It's Western style. So, yeah, I guess you got to be on a horse, right? Have a big 10-gallon hat, and I'm ready to trade. But, yeah, I'm trading the stupid retrace. Again, the entry being down here, this was the place they were going to go after people, you know, or whatever you want to say. I mean, certainly it hurts to be a trend trader, right? It hurts to try to manage a trade and end up with, you know, all these. Now here's the demo I've been running, and I put a big sell bank in here because I'm testing out this sell above current price. And here is about a 65 pip. I'm looking for this thing to go up 65 pips, and now I'm on the 4-hour chart. And it's a little easier in the 4-hour. There's a lot less so-called noise, although it's just a different, you know, approach. Of course, you could see the scalp areas would be the wherever it turns on the 4-hour. Of course, you get it 4 different brokers, right? So you have 4 different 4 hours going, I suppose. So we got this trend line on the 4-hour, and the double hits there, and if you do a pitchfork on this, let me zoom in. If you go for the yield pitchfork here. So I'm scalping this, I'm trading this from the long side right now. I'm looking for, I guess, you know, top of the hour is coming, and maybe about 6:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time is when there's a big rollover here. So right in this window, we see spikes. We could have a spike to the upside, and but I'm just going to hang in this thing until about the top of the hour. Maybe we just broke out on the 5 minute, so the price to knock out is the bears that have stops here now, or the sellers that are selling into this rally. They're going to have an issue there at that price. So here's the 15, and here is the next target. But it's also a place to sell, I guess, for at least a scalp. So it's always for at least a scalp, in my opinion. But there's not a lot of good trades out there, and but you know, last night was another example of, this is actually a 20 pip grid on this chart. This is a 22 pip come down, but having your pendings begin here and then come in really aggressive, like 40 pips deep, right? I mean, if you have orders that span a new low and a 20 pip window, you never would have got stopped out of that. Now, if this is your risk window, you can see that even here, a new low here, you never got stopped out, right? Your first entry is here on a limit with a 20 pip stop. So you should be able to just go through these charts and just say, okay, how big a stop do I really need to, if I'm going to risk 20 pips to make 40 pips, or even break even, right? So if I just try to break even orders, imagine the break evens like this, stretch this into a 40 pip window, and just make it last like this is a 15-minute chart. Here we go to a 1 hour chart. Zoom in. Oh, here I go, half-hour chart, right? And make this 2 bars. So this is your 1 hour window on a script, say. And as you move this, okay, we'll make this a good 60 pip window. So when you see these dots showing up, you imagine that the cells are going to look like this, right? And as you drag this around, it's kind of like window market playback. You take a window in time, a slice in time, and you figure out what is the range of that. And then you want to figure out how much you risk. And you're looking for a risk to reward ratio. Say, here's 20 pip risk. And here is your you take profit and just make this a slightly different color. And then you do a walkthrough of, you know, say you're using 20 pips, you're getting in on a limit, and you're going to make break evens orders. So you're going to get in, say, you know, anything. If this is where you drew your line off of, this top, so it's like Tinker Toys. I don't know if you use Tinker Toys, but so you got, this is the top of this is your entry window, and here's your take profit, which is break even. But you actually did better than break even. You did about I think you made about so this is a 1 hour window. So yeah, if you got filled there, of course, once it's filled, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It could have taken a shorter amount of time if you had gotten filled here. So every half hour you're dropping that order, and here is your take profit. That one you did amazing on. In fact, if you dropped one just before this, so ultimately you want to drop 15 minutes and 2 hours, because of course the 2 hour order's got to have a wider stop. And as long as you don't keep dropping the same order, like, well, I guess as long as you got money in the account, right, to cover those orders. So here you would have made about 30 pips risk 20. And if your broker was good enough to fill you on this last climax, you definitely have to be getting out of here, right? You'd be totally getting out of here. But I'm committed to the end of the hour, so I'm gonna wait till 6 o'clock. Now, definitely the sellers came in there, so they grabbed these. Stuff happens pretty fast, pretty obviously on the 15. You can see this behavior where they're going to come in like this, they chop this, they rip it back, and maybe they're going to come down and shear this off too. But this double bottom, you really have to look at this, the next window to start placing orders. So if they try to crush that out, you want to get in here, 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 all the way to, you know, whateverville, right? Because they're going to go after this baby again, retest that. So if you're living in a 1 hour world, right, you don't really care too much about, and of course, if you change the time frame to 15, you can see what a 15 script would be, a lot tighter script. You could run a lot tighter because you could run, say, you have a buy limit here. Because of that, they retested it, but they actually went deeper. That was when they went after that little itty bit lower there, right? Which coincides with this bottom. So on the 15, that's how I made most of the money ever trading. Was I started manually trading. I was on the 15-minute chart, because the setups, there's enough setups, and it's about the right pace. 5-minute chart, pretty. You really got to just, if you're gonna want to make 5 pips, you know, it's great, right? This thing could totally replunge here. So I probably should have got out on a scalp standpoint on the 5-minute. Would look like, you know, definitely a target. But my targets are, my take profits are way up here. So, because I'm not in that big, I figured, well, if they rip it back, then I'll get in on this plunge into the crazy deep land. It's totally possible. But if this is your, you know, you running those scripts right now, we'd be dropping this one, right? Because if they come after this guy's stop, you want his stop, right? You just, no questions asked. I mean, this is like the guy that left his stuff at the pawn shop, right? At some point, you know, they're going to come and they're going to want that, you know? It's like Storage Wars, right? This top here almost became a bottom in that window. Now, this is if you had a script that lasted, say, 8 hours, right? They never stopped you out on this fill here. Had you even placed that order up in here, that last known bottom, of course, I think the better bit with this soft spot here, like this, right at the 20 pip handle right there is a turnaround. Look at that! Look at them smash that 20. So had you bought the had you had a buy limit that lasted all day, right? After you saw this, so it was like this out in time, right? They filled it, even though maybe the 1 hour had dropped off, so your exposure is diminishing as time goes by. And that's the beauty of it. Now I'm going to buy at the market because we just pulled back to that 5-minute chart. So, yeah, it's really a better way to trade as far as I'm concerned, because you're placing orders at the turnaround, and you know the station where they let the people off, and then the other guys take over, and maybe all of a sudden the 4-hour traders are like, "Hey man, we've been sitting here going 30 pips sideways for how long? Like, sorry, party's over." So if I could just top of the hour is coming in 5 minutes. If we spike to the round handle, another 20 pips up there, I should be getting filled. Actually, this is a 50. This is the 50 pip grid that I start on the demo. Yeah, so I'm still in this demo. I was at 108,000. I was pretty excited, and then this pullback here. I only had 2 scripts I was running, and that was the one I did in the earlier video. It was it's a very tight entry of maybe 20 pips deep, and it's like a progressive thing where it starts to buy heavier the deeper it goes, so it actually piles into it, and it's like at a master stop now. It's good if you're an anchor trader, because you can just keep pushing that if it's a 15-minute thing, and if you're, you know, looking to just scalp a lot, right? You can always make about 5 to 10 pips, right? The market's at least got something like that going on. So on the 5-minute chart, if you just nailed hit the trigger and you're like, I scalped that, right? You always know that pullback's coming, or there's always going to be another chance to get in. There's just too many chances to get in. There's always you just wait a half an hour and all of a sudden the whole landscape changes. Actually, this is a linear entrance. I lied. But let me make this progressive. So I'll make this 33. I'm going to make this 22. And okay, so this is more aggressive. And I'm going to tighten this exit up because I'm getting fatter here. I'm going to make this break even, right? Because I'm probably not going to get 22 pips, right? I'm not going to get, actually it's more than that. Here, I'm buying, since I'm buying under, I'm going to go for the, instead of double your money, I think that's what I made it. It's pretty greedy. I'm going to make this like minus, let's see, that's my stop, so I'm going to make it, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to make it, since the market order, I'm going to get in, I'm going to just take like, I don't know, how about 8 pips, right? And because it's so heavy, and I'm going to make this one a little bit less greedy too. I'm going to make this just like, I'm looking to make 25 pips, right? Or I'm looking to make, no, I'm looking to make, yeah, because this is 10 over, 15 under. You add these together. This is a market order. They're just putting the stop in there. Oh, no, that's wrong. Sorry. No, actually, buy at the market. This is the stop. There is no, this is just slippage here. So you're getting it at the market with this 11 pip stop, and you're looking to make 8 pips, and here you're looking to make at least break even. So we'll go for 15. And this one's my big double your money, right? Now this is kind of like, I know it's going up, and I'm willing to risk this in a small amount to make that. So it's very complicated, even in these 3 orders at the buy at the market, because you're kind of setting a trade plan in motion, and if you're going to stick to it, so if you're if you're an anger trader, you're just going to keep pulling the trigger on this button because you know what's in the script, and you just say to yourself, I built this machine gun and I'm going to go kill people, and I'm going to kill a lot of people, right? So you very be careful. Like if you're the kind of person that throws a coffee cup at the wall because you're having a bad day, you may not want to run. You may not even want to trade at the market. You might want to just step a step to the back and just put your orders at the safe, like the end zones, and just say, you know, at some point they're going to get the ball there to the end zone. I'll get in on the turnaround, right? This is like how you would just kind of barely be trading. I mean, all your trades would be so planned out, be like a Mission Impossible. But that's the way to go, I mean, if you're that person that's meticulous like that, you only date one girl every 20 years, and, you make sure that you didn't accidentally rape her or something, right? You're like, whoops, I don't know, I was drinking, it's crazy, came unwrapped. But, so, yeah, on the 5-minute chart, like I'm looking to stare at the 5-minute chart right now, and I mean, I can't see a time I could pull the trigger on this one. So I have the other one I'm running. So I'm going to compile this, and this is the other one I'm running on the demo right now. It's kind of like my go-to script. This only lasts for an hour. But this starts to get in pretty heavy. 5 pips, 10 pips, and this is my preferred entry is this buy limits. And just making the sizing here, and the same thing, if I'm just going to grab here 8 pips because it's buying this deep, and it's got the stop 10 pips. So it's actually kind of like the other one. buy at the market, but it's 20 pips deep, right? So same scenario. Okay, looks like we're going up. Thank God, right? Okay, we just hit the top of the hour, and here's the drama on the 5 minute. Look at this tick chart just go wacko. So this is the moment of truth on the top of the hour, and here it is. All right, this is what it looks like typically. Big craziness. Now I'm going to get in with this order that I just was showing you. That's what it looks like. Now it's going to get in heavy here, right? It's going to last an hour, and then what I have one below that I moved one of the orders up into it, so I have a layered, like, in other words, this one trying to get coverage, right? It's like football, right? You need coverage, right? You need to have your men on the. So I'm looking at this as like aerial gridiron trading. You know, I can definitely switch my mind. If I put the monitor on the floor, I think it'd be better, right? It'd be like that vibrating football game. Okay, I'm buying at the market now. So now I'm putting in this scalp one, right, where I'm only looking to make. I try not to take profits here. You see the exits here. Here is the stop levels, which are your take profits also. And let's make this a different color here, like somewhat the white. So you're taking profits here. Now, see, that's bad. I should have waited. Go to the 1 minute chart. It's just a crazy. Now you can see the stop hunt on the 1 minute chart. And you got the 4 hour in the rear view mirror. You kind of know it's definitely totally possible we're going to come back and retest this thing, because you still got this unemployment news coming out. So that's, but this is definitely the spaz zone from here to the bottom of the hour. This market is just going to be an unruly mess, and I just expect it. And this is what I would run this one. I'm going to get in now on a plunge. I'm looking for a where they're going to spook all the bulls, and then try to spook them here. So I'm setting up all my spike fake out, because I think we broke out on the 1 hour, and I think that is coming. Now here's the breakout in time, right? If we come back and rest here, then we can draw a trend line off the 1 hour tops and speculate that we're going to go after at least this guy's stop. I'm sorry, this one. All right, that's the stop we're going after. And but I don't know, you know, there's always the pullbacks really take you off guard if you're not like, but the market's quiet, so there's a real high probability. And we've been trading a half hour very quietly. Now we could rip back into this if you consider this being a possible channel that we're in right now. If you hung it like that, right? And this is a high probability is to come back to here, revisit the scene of the crime one more time. And on the half hour, you had that baby top that was just the sweetest, most darling entry. So now I'm going to get in aggressively underneath this thing. And I'm going to try not to buy any at the market, because I think we're going to come back into here right now. This breakout, we could get a retest here or deeper. So, you know, I'm just gonna do nothing but put buy limits underneath that to catch the falling knife that maybe only last for the next. We go a 2 hour pullback, right? Before we really stampede north here. Definitely the euro, after all, whatever. Who knows what these people think of this thing. Of course, you know, when you can make 50 pips up and down, I don't think you care really. But yeah, I love these spikes and all this craziness is a real good money maker. And here's the trend line on the half hour, right? Not too complicated, and we already broke. I guess we just broke this out, right? So we could definitely come back into this for the retest. But I'm currently long. In the big picture, I'm long lightly, but in the small picture, I would say totally looking for the come back into this top on the 5 minute, right? But may not. Especially what's going on right now in this 5 minute. Here would be your internal structure here. This guy, it's a possible come down in here, but definitely this was the scalper's dream entry today. Was that right there? Only took 5 minutes. That was about, I don't know, 5 pips, but high probability setup, I would say. I would think so. So yeah, waiting for the news to come out. It's 8:30, it's in 2.5 hours, right? So you have a 2.5 hour smash and grab on this one, and then yeah, it's just boring as ever. There's nothing you can do about it. I guess you could take a nap, and you could have these orders last for like 4 hours. Go take a nap, come back, and you know. Here's another place we could draw a line too. So this is a 5 minute view. Definitely could wash out all this right now. It could just cave in. This thing could just cave into all this price here. So that's a high expectation. I put that on my that could happen list, and so therefore I would put in to conservatively do this. You really want to buy as deep as you have the patience to get filled here. Say they come and rip it back when the news comes out. So I'm gonna trade this demo with my news scripts when the news comes out, and I think as long as I make the coverage wide, like really span the highs and lows, I think I should be able to hopefully make 50 grand. So yeah, when I made 108, and I was gonna run some sell stops yesterday, but I think it really takes a quiet market for these stop orders. I'm still not sold on stop entry. I guess I'd rather buy at the market. I'd rather scalp at the market on a 5 minute chart than, you know, get in on stops where I'm looking and thinking to myself, geez, you know, man. Of course, I think if you had small positions and stops, right? Even though I would think, ideally, you'd want to do all 3 different things, like you play country, you play rock, and you play rap or something. But yeah, so nothing to do but wait, and that's what this is all about, I suppose. So let me come back to this drama in about 2 hours, or unless I get unless they fill this order bank, right?